Hello everyone. This is Sir GrabBagsworth speaking in behalf of the hosts. This episode had a long delay due to Mike being a lazy bum and not giving maximum effort on editing. Just a quick disclaimer that this episode was recorded as of December 14th, 2024, so apologies if the events spoken about are not recently relevant. But without further ado, enjoy the second episode of the GrabBag podcast.
Alright everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the GrabBag podcast. So, I'm your host Mike, one of your hosts Mike, and I'm here as well, once again with Sebastian.
Hey ho!
Alrighty, so we got a couple of different things to talk about, but I wanted to start it off by talking about, obviously because me being a big sports guy, I wanted to talk about specifically college football. We've had a lot of news in the college football world recently. And I wanted to start off with some local news. So
lay it on me, Mikey. I have no idea what happened over the weekend. I was on a cruise ship, so.
Oh, don't worry. So I'm going to be covering other things that have happened over the past couple of weeks. So, first off, Florida International University has decided to part ways with head coach Mike McIntyre after 3 seasons. So he had a combined 12 wins and 24 losses during his few years with the team, which it doesn't sound it doesn't sound the best, but it is better than what happened 2 years before his tenure when the team went a combined 1-16 under Butch Davis's final years.
That's a jinkies.
To be fair, Butch Davis had already been there for like a few years. Like he was there longer than McIntyre, and he did get them a bowl appearance, but their past few years have actually been better than the last few years when Butch Davis was still head coach. So it was all right, but it wasn't good enough for the Panthers athletic department as they decided to part ways with him after 3 seasons. We did get some progress this season from the Golden Panthers, as they had the least sacks allowed in Conference USA this season, which is honestly better compared to last year that they had the most sacks allowed. So the offensive line has gotten stronger. And I went to the home opener against Central Michigan this season.
At the Pitbull Stadium?
With the newly named Pitbull Stadium, yes, but no longer called Ricardo Silva Stadium.
Pitbull Stadium is so much better. I think Pitbull for me, I feel like he's in that like kind of gray zone in like celebrities where it's like he's just drama free. Like I don't think you've ever heard of anything bad happening with Pitbull. He's just sort of like
he's just a wholesome guy.
He's just an enigma. I love Pitbull. I think I mean I'm not the biggest. I mean I listen to his music. I'm not crazy about it. I just love the guy.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I think he owns like I think he's part of the he has close ties with the athletic department, or like he's like really good friends with like.
And he owns a NASCAR team as well, right? No,
I think he owns a NASCAR team.
And he owns like a wine thing as well.
But no, yeah, he bought the naming rights to FIU Panther Stadium, so now it's called Pitbull Stadium, and we had quite the turnout for that first game at the newly named Pitbull Stadium. In fact, Pitbull himself was there for that first game.
Pitbull appearance. Every time I see Pitbull, I saw there was an Instagram reel of a girl who got like front row seats to a Pitbull concert, but she did like a whole like Pitbull cosplay. Like she wore like a bald cap, and she had the stencils of like his mustache, his goatee, and it had like the pilot glass, and she wore the suit. She was like popping off at the very front of the stage, and you could see in the video that like Pitbull looking at her and like trying not to crack up while singing.
It's not Mr. Worldwide, it's Mrs. Worldwide. Well, no, so I went to that game, and it was a really good game. We got treated to a blowout. There was FIU 52, Central Michigan. I think it was 18 that they scored, or like 16. It was a good game for us. Which I'm sorry, Central Michigan fans, if you're listening in, but
I don't remember. No, I was gonna say, what is the team name? The Michigan.
The Chippewas.
The what?
They just call them the Chippewas, but they call them the Chips for short.
What is a Chippewa?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm not gonna talk trash.
It sounds like a chickmunk and a chupacabra mixed together.
I mean, maybe someone in the comment section of the YouTube video will be able to help clarify that for us. So leave a comment down below. And
yes, please, because I want to
help us out.
I'm saying it's just some kind of like American chupacabra. That's my guess.
But 52 points, that tied the all-time record of points scored in a game for the FIU football team. And that just went to show that the offense was going to be electric this year. And it definitely was.
Ooh.
As long as Kewan Jenkins, the quarterback, and their wide receiver, Eric Rivers, hopefully they stick around and they don't enter the transfer portal this offseason because they are some really good players. Eric Rivers just broke the record for yards in a season for an FIU wide receiver. So I'm hoping that he sticks around and helps to, to
Yeah.
help the team get to a bowl game at least.
I don't watch too much college, but represent still. FIU's our home team,
yes.
so
Our main college team that we follow is University of Miami, but you always gotta support you gotta support the local schools as well. So
Yeah.
FIU, you gotta. So now the man taking the helm as the new head coach at FIU is Duke running backs coach Willie Simmons. Now, he was a running backs coach at Duke, but he has had several winning seasons at Alcorn State, Prairie View A&M, and Florida A&M as either an offensive coordinator or a head coach. So he's a winner at the historically black college university level, but we have yet to see how he'll perform at the Conference USA level. But you know what? I have confidence. We'll see what happens. I really wanted them to go for a guy who was like native of Miami and is like experienced in college football. Well, not college football, but like in sports.
yeah.
But the guys that I saw that they wanted us to go after guys like Ray Lewis or Ed Reed. I'm not too familiar if they have had any coaching tenures before. So I was like, yeah, sounds good. But how much coaching experience do they have? Because that would have been a little bit awkward for them to bring in a guy who has no experience in coaching. And then, I guess it's just we wanted to do like what Deion Sanders did, that he just went in a Colorado and just turned that program right around.
At least right now it sounds like it could be worse. He sounds like all right?
It could be worse.
We could have gotten like a nepo baby where he like never won anything, and it's just because his his daddy was like a 3-time champion or whatever.
Yeah. But now going national with the news, well, we've had several conference championships happen this week. The Boise State Broncos won the Mountain West Championship. They beat the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Rebels, which is UNLV for short. So the UNLV Rebels, they beat them 21-7. And the Army Black Knights beat the Tulane Green Wave 35-14 to win the AAC, the American Athletic Conference Championship. And then finally, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks obliterated the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 52-12 to win the Conference USA Championship. And yes, I said Conference USA. Hopefully FIU will be at that point soon in the future.
Where they destroyed their whole quadrant.
They did, yes. But Western Kentucky, I love their mascot. Big Red is just hilarious. He looks absolutely goofy. He looks like a Muppet.
Oh, what is he like?
It's like he's like a red. It's like some sort of like red Muppet looking creature. I'm not too sure what it is.
When I think Big Red, I think of like a big red chicken. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like a chicken. It sounds like an Elmo.
Yeah. But no, as we're recording, there's still a couple of games that have yet to be played, but there are 2 going on right now. So the Iowa State Cyclones and Arizona State Sun Devils are playing right now for the Big 12 championship, which Arizona State should win easily. They're winning 45-10 right now. And then for the MAC, the Mid-American Conference Championship, that's going on between the Iowa Bobcats and the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. And that's Ohio should win that easily. They're winning 31-3 right now. But we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. But we have a couple other games going on later on. The SEC Championship between Georgia and Texas, which everyone's definitely going to be watching that one. I know a bunch of college football fans are going to watch that. Marshall, Louisiana is also on the slate. The same with Penn State and Oregon. That's going to be a really good game. And then finally, there's the ACC Championship, which is Clemson versus Southern Methodist, all of those games are happening later today. But yeah. So I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind recently, as well as college football.
Yeah.
So this past week in football was bonkers. And during week 14 of college football this season, we had 8 different fights break out.
Oh, now we're on my pace. So I'm like listening and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. What was it? Rebels 35-7. Like the numbers were just going in my ear, but now we're in the fun part.
Yeah. So we're in week 15 right now, but last week, week 14, we had 8 different fights break out at different games. We had Auburn versus Alabama. There was a scrap. Texas versus Texas A&M. There was a scrap. Notre Dame versus USC. Arkansas versus Missouri. But there were 4 out of the 8 that stood out to me.
Oh boy.
It was North Carolina versus North Carolina State, Arizona versus Arizona State, Florida versus Florida State, and Michigan versus Ohio State.
I was about to say, that's like full Civil War. Everything you were saying is like infighting with the states.
Now, what stood out about these 4, the ones that I mentioned, is that it all had to do with the midfield logo. Now, there's a ton of unwritten rules across sports, and baseball is definitely chock full of them. The same with basketball, same with soccer.
Yeah,
But American football has unwritten rules too. So
You
for
gotta
those of
tell
you
me.
who are not
I'm not familiar. You gotta explain it to me, Mikey.
So and I'm just gonna say, so for any of you not familiar with sports, unwritten rules is basically like the code amongst players and personnel that dictate what you can and cannot do during the course of a game or like the season. It's basically
it's
like
not
the stuff that's been passed. It's like tradition.
It's like
the stuff
tradition,
that's been tradition.
but it's not explicitly written down in the rule book.
Exactly, yeah. So
It's more like
one
honor
good-
code, right? It's more like honor code
Yeah.
not to do it.
So like one good example is like I know the Yankees for the longest time they wouldn't allow anyone to grow facial hair and everyone have to be clean shaven. If you had any sort of facial hair, you couldn't play. Like you couldn't play a game, which sucks because one of their pitchers, Nestor Cortez, has a really nice mustache.
So he had to get rid of that.
I don't know if he had to get rid of it. I'm pretty sure they had stopped doing that.
Oh.
Which, to be fair, the Yankees have been a little bit more lax now with some of their unwritten rules, and I think Jazz Chisholm has had a big part of that because he's bringing in a little bit of that, that flair that the Yankees needed. They were a little too traditional, but now they have a little bit of some color into the. Okay, poor choice of words.
Well, Mikey, poor choice of words, Mikey. I was about to, I heard that. I had to groan. I'm like, Mikey.
Well, get your head out the gutter, bro. All right. But in particular, I wanted to go over a couple of ones that that football has, which it applies across all sports. So, for one of them is to stand up for a teammate who received a cheap shot, and it happened earlier this week in the NFL. I don't know if it was this week in the NFL, but last week in the NFL, we had a situation with the Jaguars and the Texans. I think I've shown you the video before.
Yeah.
That Azeez Al-Shaair, Texans defender, ended up laying into Trevor Lawrence a nasty helmet-to-helmet hit that took Trevor Lawrence out of the game. And all of the Jaguars players went after Al-Shaair. And people were very upset with the way that it was handled, especially since Al-Shaair, I think, got suspended for 1 game compared to, I think Deontay Johnson wouldn't go out onto the field for the Ravens, and he got sat out, and he got a suspension for like 3 games or something.
So like just like inconsistent, like
yeah, and then he even played, and he thought that he was the victim. He's basically playing the villain now because of getting all this hate. But yeah, so standing up for your teammate who received a cheap shot, that's one of the unwritten rules.
Yeah.
Another one of the unwritten rules is to not run up the score when the game's already won. So a good example of this was last year in Week 18. It was the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons that during Week 18, they got Jamal Williams his only touchdown of the year, which they scored it on like the 1-yard line. So it was like really like right there on the goal line. They ran a final play. It was like the 4th quarter, very little time left in the game, and they got him his first touchdown of the year, which honestly was important to him because last season he broke, I think, like the NFL record for most touchdowns by a running back in a season, and then the next season he was just
everyone targeted him.
No, not everyone targeted him.
He just got unlucky.
He got super unlucky. But then again, like I looked into his reference page. I think he's like a career backup. He's always hasn't had like super high scoring seasons, but the year that he had broken the touchdowns record, or I think it was like with the Lions. I think it was the Lions rushing touchdowns record. He was playing with the Lions and he was their star back. He didn't have any competition. He was the bell cow receiver there.
All right.
But then he goes to what's it called? New Orleans, and he didn't get a lot of reps because they already had another guy, Javonte Williams. So they wanted to get him his touchdown. Actually, no, not Javonte Williams. I was thinking the Broncos. Rashid Shaheed, I think, was the running back. But anyways, because they got that touchdown, that absolutely triggered the then head coach of the Falcons, Arthur Smith, because the score was already 41-17 and the game was about to end. So if they didn't get that touchdown, the game would have ended 41-17, but instead it ended 47-17.
So Mike, yeah, no, that's super interesting. But I have another question though.
Yeah.
How is, because I've not been keeping up with football that much this year. How's Tua playing, by the way, for our Dolphins QB?
Oh boy.
Has he gotten another concussion?
He has not. Thankfully, he has not had another concussion.
Last time I went to a game this year, I was like, "Where's Tua?" And my dad told me he had like 3 concussions, and I'm like, "Oh, that's that." Yeah.
It's probably just jokes at this point. Yes, we are Dolphins fans. For those who are listening,
Yeah.
painfully, we are Dolphins fans.
Dolphins household.
Yes, but yeah, it's the rather unfortunate fact that we have a QB that has significant injury history. Not too sure what's gonna happen with him, but we'll see what happens. And going back to the Falcons.
Yeah.
So what makes it even funnier, what I was talking about, the fact that the coach got absolutely triggered, the fact that they had ran up the score when it was already so, like, the game was all but won. That coach had been one of the worst coaches in the league.
Oh boy.
He had, I would say, Arthur Smith had one of the best tight ends in the league at that point. Well, I mean, it's looking like it's maybe not at the time, but everyone was making a big deal about how they had a really good running back, a really good tight end, and a really good wide receiver in Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. You have all of these guys that you can use on the offense. But he decides to run the offense through the backup tight end, Jonnu Smith, FIU alum, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and Tyler Algier, their backup running back. He wanted to get him their reps. And everyone was getting so triggered, and he was always super arrogant about the way that he would make play calls, like as if he was some genius, when in reality he wasn't. He had several losing seasons with the Falcons. But yeah, so standing up for a teammate who received a cheap shot and not running up the score when the game's all but won. That's a couple of unwritten rules in American football. However, one of the biggest unwritten rules that even applies across all sports, I would think, is to not desecrate the opposing team's logo. Do not do anything bad to the other team's logo. And it's specifically in the NFL, the midfield logo. Now, there's been a couple of instances where this happened, and there were some bad results that happened. So in the 2000 season, the 49ers and the Cowboys played, and then 49ers wide receiver Terrell Owens had scored 2 touchdowns on the day. For the first touchdown, he went and ran to the center star, like the star of the Cowboys logo on the midfield logo, and he just stared up at the sky, celebrating. And that triggered a bunch of Cowboys fans. The next Cowboys touchdown, the running back at the time, I don't know if it was Emmitt Smith. I don't remember who was the running back, but the running back went and celebrated on the star, basically to like reclaim it.
Capture the flag.
Exactly, yes, like kind of like capture the flag. The next touchdown that Terrell Owens did, he went and he ran again to go and celebrate on the star. But this time the Cowboys weren't going to let him have it.
Did he get sucker punched?
He spiked, like he placed the ball on the star, and then Cowboys safety George Teague just came in and just blew him out of the star, like just laid into him.
Oh.
And then the second that happened, a fight broke out at midfield, and then Terrell Owens, just in all his genius, went and celebrated right in the middle of the star, doing the same thing he did on the first one. He just stared up at the sky.
Honestly, I respect it.
He became a villain in Dallas. Let's just say that. But and then the same thing happened 20 years later.
Yeah.
In the 2020 season, then I think you might have heard this guy before, Juju Smith-Schuster.
I think I've heard him before.
So in 2020 he was playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was one of their best wide receivers. He got in trouble because he did a TikTok dance on the midfield logo before the game. Now, just for context, he was doing this. No, I think it was like one that it was the Corvette one.
I don't know that one. I just know like.
Then I think it might have. Then I'm not too much into like TikTok culture or anything.
Well, so TikTok is gone, didn't they say TikTok is getting banned in January?
I don't know, man.
I thought because they passed the bill to like ban TikTok, but it never really.
I don't know, man.
Nothing happened, but I think they said like for now, like it's actually gonna happen
I don't know.
in
I
like
don't want to
January.
get. I don't know. I don't want to get political. So
Well, it's not really political. It's just saying
I know it's not. I know
when
it's not political,
TikTok
but I
goes
don't want to.
away, it's more
I
like
know, but
it's more like we gotta like hunker down when TikTok goes away. All the 9-year-olds are gonna be screaming in the streets.
But so he was doing this with a bunch of different teams. He had done it to the Bills. He had done it to a bunch of other teams, and they were angry at him. So they would just use that as like fuel to play better against the Steelers. In that game against the Bengals, he caught a pass and then got absolutely blown up by Von Bell on a tackle. And even the announcers were like that there's definitely a little bit of some heat from what he did before the game. And the Steelers went on to lose that game against the Bengals. And then if it wasn't enough, they went on and they proceeded to lose in the playoffs against the Cleveland Browns in the first round.
Yikes.
After going 11-0 in the first half of the season. I'm sorry, Steelers fans, I have to bring this up.
What?
I get it. You guys were a really good team at that point, but y'all know you were bound for a blow up at that point.
What
That
was
team was
the saying? The brightest star burns the fastest.
burns quickest, I think.
Burn
Yeah.
quickest.
But then again, much respect to you guys, Steelers fans. Y'all have a really good team this year. Hopefully, you guys make it past the first round this season. You got a really good team this year. But going to the last example
Yeah.
of desecrating the midfield logo, the Raiders went to play the Chiefs in 2021, and they played in Arrowhead, and they went and had a team meeting on the midfield logo before the game. They proceeded to get blown out 48-9.
Yikes.
And that's an example of division rivals because
Oh, that's even like dirtier
and
if
it's
you do
even
it to your
worse because
rival.
they had already played each other a couple of weeks prior. But yeah, I mentioned rivalries because some schools in college, going back to the college football stuff, they have some insane rivalries. I know it's not that much of a rivalry now, but Miami versus FIU, University of Miami and FIU, we had an insane rivalry for quite a few years. Because obviously the schools are like super close to each other with University of Miami
They're
being
like
in
2
Coral
miles.
Gables.
They're like 2 miles away from each other, right?
I'm not too sure if it's 2 miles, but I know it's like not that far of a drive. It's maybe like a 20-30 minute drive away from each other.
Nah, it's like shorter than that, no?
I don't remember, but so with Miami being in Coral Gables, University of Miami, and FIU being in like the western part of Miami, we had a little bit of a rivalry there. And what ended up happening, it was in 2006, we had a fight that broke out in a game against each other.
I think you showed me that video.
Yeah, I think I've shown you the video before. And then, yeah, there was a big, a bunch of people got suspended. And then a couple other crazy rivalries. Let's just, I'm going to go over one, which is Auburn and Alabama. They've had quite a rivalry for years. For you college football fans, 2013 Iron Bowl, you guys may remember that one. He housed it from 109 yards out. And I'm sorry, Bama fans, it must hurt to hear it again. I am very sorry to mention it. But going back to the stuff that happened with the midfield logo. So we had North Carolina versus NC State. So there was a fight that broke out because they were planting a school flag on the midfield logo. And the same thing happened at the Florida and Florida State game and the Michigan and Ohio State game. Now, Michigan-Ohio State is one of the biggest rivalries in college. And everyone in Ohio State was a little triggered at the fact that Michigan did it. Now, just to a little bit of some context, Michigan had won that game 13-10. It was a really good game. But Michigan went ahead and tried to plant the Michigan flag on the midfield logo of Ohio State. And the Ohio State players did not like that. So they went ahead and just had a full scrap. And then the Arizona State game, I don't know if you had heard it earlier when I talked about the Arizona State game, but their team name is the Sun Devils. So they had like a trident or like a pitchfork.
Yeah.
And they went and stuck it on the midfield logo of Arizona's.
That's disrespectful.
Exactly. That's the point. So they viewed it as disrespectful, and they just had a fight starting to break out. And I'm pretty sure like one Wildcats player went to try and grab the pitchfork out of the guy's hand, but the Sun Devils player wouldn't let it go. So yeah, there were a few fights regarding. I guess I can understand why you're trying to preserve the honor of your school, when playing against these teams that they come in and they embarrass you in your own home stadium, especially if it's a rival, and
Mm-hmm.
then they go and they do this to you. Now, in my honest opinion, now I'm sorry to any fans of the teams that were affected in this way. But if you are gonna have a little bit of a hissy fit because of the fact that you got disrespected, maybe play a better game. I get it. Yeah, you guys will play Michigan, Ohio State fans. I get it. You guys played a really good game, but maybe try to handle the loss a little bit better. I think I'm right along with what one of the players from Michigan had said, that some people need to learn how to lose better. But I get it. I'm not gonna go too far into it, but that's really one thing. That's really one of the things I gotta say about, like, if you're having a little bit of a tantrum after you
Yeah.
lose, just maybe play a better game. It's the
Just
same
a
applies.
skill, Mikey. You're telling him skill issue.
Skill issue, exactly. Skill issue. It's the same thing with baseball. Whenever a pitcher gets upset at the fact that a batter just absolutely launched a piss missile into the stands, and then just stares at it, maybe throw a better pitch next time.
Yes,
I'm
Mikey.
sorry, that's a skill. That's a skill issue.
Mikey, the ancient proverb of "Why does Subway taste so bad? My brother in Christ, you made the sandwich."
Exactly. There you go. But no, yeah, I'm like, that's one of the things I'm talking about. I mean, unwritten rules, in my opinion, some of them are all right. Like, I understand you want to preserve the dignity of the game. You want to preserve sportsmanship and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, you gotta find a way to control yourself as well. 'Cause, I mean, obviously, because of it being a rival.
But it's also emotions are high at the time and
Obviously,
adrenaline's
emotions
high.
are very high. Emotions are very high
A
during
lot
the
of
game. And
testosterone, a lot of adrenaline.
a lot of testosterone, yes. I could just be rambling right now, and me just being me being a casual sports fan and who's never played competitively, I won't know what the heck I'm talking about. But it's just my own opinion. Maybe I mean
Well, thank you.
I see it happens a lot in the pros. Obviously, happens at the collegiate level. Happens a lot, but yeah. I just honestly think some unwritten rules are dumb, and yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that was
Mikey.
pretty much
For
it.
your
That was just.
what do we call this? A grab talk for like the TED talk?
Thank you for coming to my TED talk.
Yes, your little
how to
grab talk.
how to not piss off an entire fan base 101.
Yeah. So Mikey, get ready for this craziest transition I'm about to hit. So
Alrighty,
as
what
we're
is this
talking about
transition?
is we were talking about earlier about a little bit, just football and stuff, and I mentioned Tua. You want to know what also, because Tua wasn't there. This was against the Titans, right? And you want to
Yes,
know,
okay,
Tua
Titans,
wasn't
yes.
even playing, and I think everyone wanted to get Tua to come out and play, even though he had a concussion. But you want to know
boy.
what they were chanting?
What did they chant? Oh boy.
Hawk Tua.
Oh boy.
So they were
And,
chanting, and now for that transition, Mikey.
are we about
We're
to talk
talking
about the Hailey Welch drama?
Yep, talk Tua, baby. Let's go. The Hawk Tua HAWKANOMICS coins.
Oh boy. Alrighty,
Bro,
here we go. Yeah, so I had already heard about this. I think I saw, like, Charlie had talked about it on his channel. I hadn't
Bro,
seen the
it's
video.
the CoffeeZilla. You gotta look at CoffeeZilla because he actually confronted them about it. It was crazy. Okay, so for you who don't know, Hawk Tua girl Hailey, what's her name? Hailey Bell.
Haley Welch.
Hailey Welch.
But then again, at this point, who doesn't know who she is?
Actual industry plant. Did you see? I heard like her like, not her was it her most recent episode had Mark Cuban in it.
What the heck does Mark Cuban have to do with organization? Like, because I know
What?
her before.
What?
She,
What?
I know
What are you
before-
talking about?
I know before she had all of, like, this, like, crazy fame, like her 15 seconds of fame. I think she was like one of those, like, organizing, like making sure that all your stuff is, like, cleaned up and organized. I think she was like, I'm pretty sure she was, like, doing that beforehand.
I don't
And
think that has
then-
nothing to do with anything, Mikey. She
That's
just
what I'm. I know, but I'm saying. I guess, yeah. Like, now you just to talk with celebrities and stuff like
she
that.
just like talks
But,
to celebrity and like endorses product. The thing is, she signed on with Logan Paul's agency.
Oh boy, yeah,
That's what I'm
that'll
saying.
get you into some hot water.
So, anyways, so if you don't know, basically, Hailey Welch, she like teamed up with a bunch of guys. Oh, I forgot, was Doc Hollywood. This dude he sounds like a cartoon character of like the evil
Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood, like an evil like producer on like a cartoon show where it's like where it's like an episode where the cartoon characters are like trying to get the show not shut down, like the Muppets, and it's like Doc Hollywood is like the evil producer.
Sounds like some Looney Tunes back in action type
Yeah,
stuff.
but anyway, I think he's something like Howie Mandel's cousin or something like that, right? But basically he like went on with did like a joint thing with Hawk Tour girl Hailey Welch to do a crypto coin, and in his own words, crypto coins for not crypto people. This is for specifically aimed for people who've never had crypto before.
Interesting. Okay.
So it was targeting, not crypto people.
Oh wait. All right. So yeah. So obviously they're gonna go after the people who have no idea what they're doing and giving them tips and stuff like that, and basically just robbing them of millions, but potentially.
So then on the podcast she would like advertise the Hawk Tool coin, and they called it unironically the HAWKANOMICS.
HAWKANOMICS. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
and they were like, we're just doing this cool thing where no one has done it before. Wrong. There's literally nothing. I will say what they've not done before. I will say later. Something that's actually innovative just because of how crazy it is. So basically, they're like, oh yeah, we'll do the Hawk Tool coin or whatever. They immediately rug pulled it after like an hour. So
this was just a whole pump and dump scheme was all
yes,
it was?
It was. But then they were saying, this was just the snipers. But not only was it a pump and dump, it was also insider trading because they sold 17% of their stock before they opened it to like insiders and like friends and stuff.
Oh boy.
So this was not only, a pump and dump, but it was insider trading as well. So then you want to know something like the crazy thing? Because after they immediately were trying to do damage control, saying, it was a sniper or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they went on like Twitter, on Twitter Spaces, which is just like the platform on Twitter you can use to talk to your audience. And it got invaded by CoffeeZilla, the man himself. The man, who sniffs out crypto scams.
There's two people you don't want to mess with on the internet, and it's CoffeeZilla and Moist Critical. You do not want to mess with those guys.
Yeah, so not only when he talked about, bro.
Well, I mean, also Mudahar is also among them that you don't want to mess with on the internet.
Yeah, so bro, the interview was crazy. Like the guy, because they were like recording it before. Oh, by the way, when CoffeeZilla was trying to talk to him, they basically talked over him and was just like trying to like run away from questions.
Trying to divert the conversation.
But like so forcefully, like anyone can see it happening.
Yeah. So it was like it was blatantly obvious that they were trying to cover their own tracks, is what you're saying.
No, that's the thing. They didn't even like cover. This is the innovative part. That Doc Hollywood was out there in Twitter Spaces, everyone in front of everyone, saying, you should be thanking me. Unironically saying that, like, you should be kissing up to me. And the craziest thing, he like called everyone who like in crypto, which I'm not in crypto. Thank God I'm not in crypto. I'm never gonna be in crypto. I just like keeping up because I think it's funny and I like laughing at him. But
right.
He called everyone in crypto, including the people who invested in this, mentally ill.
Oh boy. That's a fun. You're looking for adoration, but that's not the way you look for it.
No, he was like, you should be kissing up to me. You guys are all mentally ill. Which that is the innovative thing. I've never seen. Usually with these like pump and dumps, they like they pump and dump and then they run away and they never talk about it. These guys, they like came out and they were insulting people for getting pump and dumped. And like saying, you should be thanking me. No, that's not only you guys are mentally ill. You guys should be thanking me.
Y'all just got scammed out of $120, you bunch of idiots.
Mikey.
Like y'all just got scammed out of $120,000, you bunch of idiots.
Mike, you want
did I say 120 by mistake? Like just 120?
It was not 100. Was it 120 million? No.
I was just saying there's like a hypothetical number.
No, not that. That would be a crazy amount of money, but I think it was more like. I
think it was like 120,000, not 120 million.
I think it was like $4 million. That was a scam.
Yeah, you. Then again, how much was the Well, I mean, to be fair, what was the difference compared to the Crypto Zoo scam? What was that one like?
I think Crypto Zoo was like around like
What
6
was it, like
mil.
20 million almost?
No, I don't think it was that much. I think it was like 6 mil.
I know it was like a crazy amount though.
6 mil is a lot.
I know yeah, obviously, yeah, 6 mil is a lot of money, yeah. But I thought it was like I thought it was like 18 mil or something
I would
that
have
he
to
had
go
made
back.
off of.
I think you're right. I think Logan Paul didn't make anything off of it. Like,
Obviously,
yeah.
he didn't make anything off of it because he had to pay reparations afterwards, obviously,
Well,
when it got
that
exposed.
and then also I think it was like his other
Co-conspirators
partner.
and stuff.
Yeah, that was the one that made more money. Was like Jake the Crypto King. I think that was his name. I think he was the one who made the most. He like made like 3 mil or something, 3 or 4 mil.
Oof. Wow. Well,
From
yeah, I
that.
mean, I guess it was. So I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's like within the same level as the Crypto Zoo scam, but I guess it's getting it's getting the same media
It's just
attention.
more blatant. Well, because they come out and they basically just insult everyone who invested into it. Like it was a crazy play. It's a crazy maneuver. But yes,
Yeah.
I know everyone's like saying, "Yo, Hawk Tua girl going to jail." Like that's like the meme right now.
To be fair, I think everyone was already getting sick and tired of her. So
Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about, Mikey. Talk Tua is the most intellectual show ever made. You know,
is it now?
only the greatest minds, converge and talk Tua.
And that only the greatest minds can comprehend the stuff that goes down on the.
Talk Tua, like the memes that is like Sophocles like talking. That's Talk Tua.
He's good lord.
So Mikey,
I wouldn't even want to. I wouldn't even want to know what they talk about on that podcast. I mean, to be fair, I haven't listened to a single episode, so I would probably just.
I haven't either. I just know the memes. But Mikey, listen, hear me out. Episode title name Hawk Tua, but it's Hawk, but Tua like the
No.
Tua like
please,
our
no.
like our football.
For the love of God,
QB.
no.
No.
I am not going with that title. No.
We are not, just.
Good lord, bro. Oh my god. That was just no. Like
Mikey,
Jesus
the Hawk Tua.
I'm not gonna go down that route. I'm not gonna go down that route.
Well, anyways, I had another topic I wanted to talk about: the Game Awards. Woo, yeah,
Alrighty.
the Game Awards.
Very well, yes. Something a little bit more tame.
Yes, so I know there's what got kind of went nutty in the categories, Astrobot.
What? Okay.
Which is if you don't know what Astrobot is, it's like one of Sony's games. So Astrobot,
Alright.
I think like it originally was the series was for the VR, the PlayStation VR for the PS4.
All right.
And that was like the first game. It was like they introduced like how like it was basically like it came free with the VR headset. And then for the
Okay.
and the second game came free with the PS5. As like like learning about like it was like bundled in like Wii Sports.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just found that. Yeah, I think I just found it on IGN's website.
But then they released like a new standalone Astrobot game recently. And it went nutty. Everyone was saying it was really, really good. I would like to play it, but once again, I don't have a PS5.
You need a VR headset. So
No, it's not VR. It was just the first game.
You don't need a VR?
No, only the first game.
Okay. I thought it was like one of those things that you needed a VR headset
No,
for.
it's the first game is VR exclusive. The other games are not VR.
Gotcha. I forgot what it was called. What was it called again? Like Sony Game Room or something like that? Because I know it was like when I first got my PS4, they had talked about it, but I just completely forgot what it was
It's just called
called.
the PSVR, no? Isn't it just called the PSVR?
PSVR maybe? I don't know.
It's just PSVR, and it was the PSVR 2 that came out with the PlayStation 5, and it flopped because it was horribly priced. And it didn't... And none of the games that you got from the PS4 VR could transfer to the new one.
I mean, now with the PS5, now that they have like the cloud sharing, or, like the cloud, I forgot what it's called, but like the cloud storage of like all the old games. I remember I got to play on my cousin's PS5. I got to play back, what was it? Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, which I had played on the PlayStation 3, and that took me back to my childhood.
That right now they've been like re-releasing old Star Wars games with Asper.
I was geeking out the fact that they had that you were able to play Force Unleashed on the
Geeking out on the Galaxy Gas while playing Force Unleashed.
Yes, but I was loving life, man. I love the fact that they had the old games from the PS3 on the PS5. I mean, I don't have one. I'm fine with the PS4 for now, but I would probably consider. Yeah, I mean, but then again, I'm not putting down a down payment on a really nice car
honestly,
for a PS5.
Honestly, well, PS5 isn't that bad priced. It's like
I can save myself. I can save myself some time and money and get myself like a MetaQuest for like $500.
I honestly think it's just better just to save for like get a full like gaming PC because you can also use it for other stuff besides gaming.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's like an
And if anything,
investment.
I could always.
Because like an Xbox or PlayStation, you get it, but you only use it for games, right? Like if you get a PC,
And then I know
you can
some
use it
guys
for
that
a
they
bunch of
make
stuff.
like. And I know there's some guys that they make like a standalone case just to have like the processor of the gaming system within the case. So I'm like, you know what?
That's what I want to do.
That actually seems like that is actually a pretty cool idea. Like having an actual case with like the processor of the gaming system, and then just having that on that would be so sick. I saw one for the PS5 or for the Xbox, but it actually looks super sick. I saw it on Instagram. I might send it to you if I find it again.
Yeah, but that's.
But I just looked it up.
That's what I want to do.
The
Upgrade
contenders.
to a PC. That's what I want to do. Upgrade to a PC.
I did see some of the contenders for the game of the year. So you got Astrobot,
Yeah,
Balatro,
yeah,
Black Myth Wukong,
and then
Elden Ring.
that one actually has gotten a lot of controversy. Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Shadow of the
Shadow of the Entry,
because it's not
of the Entry.
Because it's DLC.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like, how is DLC getting nominated for Game of the Year?
So that would be like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of an example.
There's not really an example because it's like a game.
Yeah.
It's the only one. Because if you say like a movie, it's like, oh, that's a sequel. With games, because this is like DLC, because this is like an add-on to the original game.
That is true.
It's
yeah, so
not
I guess
like
that's
a
true.
sequel.
So I guess it's like with Star Wars winning like those awards for like best soundtrack, but then again it was because it was just countless movies within the series. It's like, oh, it's just a sequel. It wasn't really the movie that had won it. It's just
No, that's not what it's like. That's like saying what would it be? Okay, it's like isn't there a thing where you can buy cars and they have different engines? Right, you can get like different, like muscle cars. You can get like more powerful engines on the same car.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like, let's say that car got nominated.
It's like comparing a V10 to a V8 is what you're saying.
Okay, but it's like comparing. Let's say this car has a V8 engine, right? And it got and it won Car of the Year award or whatever. They do that, right? It's like, oh, rated as the best car of the year. Those were
I mean, I guess
I've seen them on commercials.
I think like Kelly Blue Book or something like that. I don't remember.
So imagine
I'm not that big of a car guy, so I wouldn't
And then let's say next year it's the same car, but it's the model with the V10 engine. The same thing is just so it's like
there's just a more powerful version of the last car.
No, it is the same car. It just has a better engine. It's the same car,
just a better, just
so
more powerful.
So it's just like, hey, it's the same car, which it is, you know. So that's like the big whoop because it's DLC getting nominated, and even then, I think that's not really a good comparison because DLC is just like an add-on.
Elden Ring won it last year, right?
Oh, you know what it is actually? It's like an expansion pack. Okay, you know how like there's like tabletop games, you get like expansions.
Okay, yeah.
It's like that. It's like, oh, let's say best tabletop of the year.
So it's like if D&D was to win Game of the Year, and then something
next
of like
year,
D&D,
and then next year, no, not another title, an expansion. So like you can only play it with the original game.
Yeah,
would be like another new one.
That's what, like it was like another campaign or something that won Game of the Year.
Yeah, and it's like it's just another campaign, not a full game, not like a full thing.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So that's what it is like, and then the next Final Fantasy,
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then Metaphor Refantasio.
So I do not know anything about Metaphor.
Neither do I, but I mean, judging by the title, what is it, like an anime game or something?
It looks like it. Oh, but it's Atlas. So, you know what? That makes sense. It's the people from Persona.
All right.
But anyways, so yeah, Astrobot got nominated. How many times? It was like 8.
What is this? This literally looks like it's literally like the robot, and it has like the God of War look.
What are you talking about?
Like some of the looks that they have for Astrobot.
Oh
Like some of
yeah,
the
in
costumes they
Astrobot
have
in
for
the
him.
new game, like you can like find PlayStation
It literally
characters.
looks like Kratos.
It is Kratos because they have like PlayStation characters. You can find
I
like
mean, yeah,
Alloy.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
can find like Solid Snake. You can find. I think you can find Raiden from the Revengeance, Metal Gear Revengeance.
There's a lot of God of War costumes for this kid.
Yeah, it's all like the
There's
PlayStation and like
there's
PlayStation
like
adjacent.
Kratos, Atreus, Mimir,
Atreus. That's
Atreus. Okay,
yeah.
you could tell I don't. You could tell I don't watch a lot of God of War gameplay, so I wouldn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. So, what do you think is winning this year?
To be fair, I'm not that much of a gamer, so I wouldn't really have a solid answer to give.
I have my two bets. It's either Astrobot or Black Myth Wukong. Those are
Yeah,
my.
just I know that Wukong has had a lot of following. I didn't see a lot of like gameplay or anything, but I know that it went that a lot of people were liking it.
So there's that, and then the other one that I wanted to talk about was a best adaptation. So if you don't know, it's
Best
a category.
adaptation.
It's like
Okay.
a best. It's just basically like a best like video game turned movie or show.
Oh, okay. All right. So then that goes to
So they
what,
have.
like what do you think is gonna or like yeah just show yeah
Okay,
tell me
this
what the
one I
contenders
actually
are.
think is gonna be very close, cause they have Arcane season 2,
Okay.
Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft.
All right. Okay.
So I think it's gonna be come down to Arcane or Fallout.
I think it's gonna be Arcane, man. Yeah, Arcane and
No,
Fallout. But I think it's gonna
Fallout.
go. I think it's gonna be Arcane.
No, I think it could go either way. Arcane season 2, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard really good
Arcane's
things.
popularity is crazy, dude.
Crazy, but Mikey,
Arcane's popularity
when
has been
Fallout
crazy,
came out
man.
though, it was also kind of went nuts. And people were saying Fallout was a really good TV show. I haven't seen it. Like I haven't seen either season 2 of Arcane or Fallout season 1.
I'm interested. Has BioShock ever had an adaptation?
They're making one with Netflix.
Yo,
No,
all right,
no, Mikey,
all
don't
right.
don't put your hopes up. It's Netflix.
Oh, but it's Netflix. Okay, yeah, no. I mean, it has the potential, but then it's probably just gonna.
What I'm surprised they got a lot of garbage doo doo here on the best adaptation. Like I don't know why Knuckles was there. I've just heard bad things from Knuckles.
Is there now?
Yeah.
I had thought that it was an okay. Like I mean, I didn't watch it, but I had heard that I thought it was an okay.
Well, I heard it was okay too. The thing is, I heard it from a biased
An okay
source,
series.
a very let's say avid Sonic fan,
Okay, yes,
And-
all right, yes, an avid Sonic fan. So
and they really did not like it, and they just ranted to me about it. I'm not naming names on the podcast, but like it was a big rant that I felt like I feel about this was like Pokemon. I'm like I understand your pain.
okay, gotcha, understood.
So yeah, that was the Game Awards. I got a lot of categories, so I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. We'll see also what's happening with the.
I might have to check out. Do they have a best soundtrack award?
Yes, they
like
do.
Then I might have to take a look at that. Like
They
me
have
being a
best
big
score
music
and
fan,
music.
especially if soundtrack. Best score. Like what are
Best
the
score
contenders
music.
for that?
Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII might actually take it because
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII got a fire soundtrack.
Metaphor, Silent Hill 2,
Okay.
and then Stellar Blade.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so in my opinion, it might be between maybe like Final Fantasy, Metaphor, and Silent Hill. Silent Hill got I've heard Silent Hill has amazing.
I heard
soundtrack.
Stellar Blade has a good soundtrack as well.
But I mean, just me because I mean obviously because I've played Final Fantasy VII. I think there's me being biased because I think Final Fantasy VII has got some amazing tracks.
That's like a classic
One-Winged-
game.
One Winged Angel will forever be, in my opinion, one of the greatest tracks ever composed in video game history.
True that.
Especially the Advent version. The Advent version sounds amazing.
So yeah. Is there any other? Oh, Mikey, you got a DJ gig. You want to talk about your creative process for
man.
DJing?
I guess I could talk about that. So really, all of my stuff, I got inspiration from like obviously off of Instagram. There's a bunch of different DJs that are on there. They're really the one that got me into like posting some DJ stuff on Instagram. There's a DJ on Instagram called Eric Rhodes. He did, I think it was a combination of Metallica and I forget this one artist. It was like a country artist, but it was actually a pretty sick like combination, like a mashup of the two songs that it sounded just perfect because it was Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which by itself, just the acoustic guitar of Nothing Else Matters, it sounds like it could be like a country kind of, like you're at a showdown,
Mm-hmm.
and just the opening guitar bit, which is just acoustic guitar, you could tell that it sounds kind of like Western. I was gonna say Southern, but nah, it's Western. I meant to say. Yeah, so some of the different mixes I'll do is I mainly try to work with EDM because EDM is normally a little bit, in my opinion, it's easier to mix because a lot of it is just a lot of percussion at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely I'll come across a couple songs where the beginning is like vocals or like back synthesizers, and I just have to like maybe like pitch up or pitch down to be able to match the last song I had in transition. But I try to stick with instrumental to instrumental transitions because vocal transitions is something very difficult to work with. I think I've done it a couple of times with a few songs.
No, it looks hard. I think I gave you like a challenge one time
Yes,
about
the
trying to
intro,
mash
the
up
opening
to
from Mashla.
yeah the creepy nut song.
Please don't copyright strike us, YouTube, please.
Yeah, that's right, Mikey. Don't sing it. You gotta like sing it with a massive voice crack so we don't get flagged.
Good lord. But I like it. For now it's a hobby. I'm trying to make it a little bit more maybe like a side gig that I can do. But if you guys are interested, feel free to check out my music Instagram, and then I think I have like 5 different mixes on there. A couple of them are a little shorter than others, but if you guys are interested in checking out some of the stuff that I've come up with, feel free to have a listen.
Go check it out. So,
and I also definitely recommend if you're into like DJing and stuff, look up best DJ transitions. I mean, obviously some of them are gonna be a little cold, those transitions, but some of them are actually really nice. There was one I heard that it was "Eeny Meeny" by
I know
Sean
that
Kingston
one.
and by Sean Kingston.
I listen to that
and
song
Justin Bieber.
unironically sometimes. I don't know why it goes kind of dummy like the intro.
And then it transitions into "Danza by Don Omar, which is just a wild transition, but it works, man. It is hilarious. And then I think one of my favorite songs to use in a transition, because to me it's just become like my universal transition song, is "Get Low," the Azar remix by Dylan Francis and DJ Snake. That song goes hard. If you're listening to it sped up, trust me, it is a really good song to listen to. Like if you're in the weight room or something, you get that last set in. Is a really good song for that. But even slowed down, I've done quite a few transitions with that one. Funny enough, I did the Max Verstappen song transitioning from Get Low by DJ Snake. It was hilarious. It was like my cousin had told me, bro, transitioning to Max Verstappen from that.
I remember you showed me that one, and I'm like, is that Max Verstappen? Mikey!
I mean, it's a meme, and I don't know if anyone really gets copyright
I wouldn't risk
for
it.
that.
But we're gonna get smited by the YouTube algorithm.
Please don't come after me, YouTube.
Well, Spotify's probably fine. The Spotify, they're chill. But anyways, so something I think I mentioned it last episode that I wanted to talk about was Ubisoft. Bro, I think
yes, Ubisoft. Yes,
Ubisoft
the downfall of Ubisoft
is kind of crazy. I feel like Ubisoft, I don't think it's gonna.
I've always had good experiences with Ubisoft. I mean, obviously that was because of like earlier on in life with games like with Just Dance and stuff. Like I remember Just Dance as being like a huge part of Ubisoft, and the same thing with like the Uno video game, also that as well. But then again, I haven't really had a whole lot of experience besides those games. So, and since I'm saying like I'm not that much of a gamer now, but before I've always had good experiences with Ubisoft. But now that I hear it's a downfall, I guess I'm about to hear
Ubisoft. I don't think it's gonna. It's like blockbuster level. Like I at first was thought like too big to die. Now I don't think it's gonna shut down completely. I think they're just gonna get bought out by Tencent, which if you don't know, is like a giant Chinese gaming conglomerate.
All right.
I generally think so. So if you don't know, I think they've lost about 90% of their valuation in like the last like 70% in like the last 4 years.
Whew. I thought you were about this. When you said 90, I was like,
No, it's
oh,
not that
what the
bad.
heck?
It's crazy though. So
Because I was like, at least people still play like Uno and stuff, and like,
no, it's not that. It's not. It's not. You're being because Uno's like $5. It's because all their big
okay,
games
true. Uno's like,
have been flopping.
I thought
So
it was $10 actually.
it could be, but so
Or
if
did
you
they
don't
lower the
know,
price? I don't know.
Ubisoft has been very much what people call comfort food games. That each game from Ubisoft is basically the exact same thing, copy paste, like in the
So it's just like
way it's like the way that it's formatted. So, for example,
so kind of like your standard cookie cutter mobile games now.
no,
But I mean like a more complex version of the cookie cutter mobile games is what you're saying.
no. This is what I mean. That they all follow the same format. So ever since they all follow the same format as Far Cry. So that was a really big thing because they had a bunch of series that were all different, right? Like Assassin's Creed, they had Far Cry, they had Watch Dogs, they had that,
God,
right?
Watch Dogs. I haven't heard that name in a while. Watch
Yeah,
Dogs.
Watch Dogs died. That's what I was gonna say. That's another game series that died while following
Because
the
I remember
downfall. YouTube.
the other ones that I had remember, yeah, like Far Cry. I remember because I was watching like Jacksepticeye and stuff. I remember Far Cry. Yeah.
So they all started like being the same because they thought, um, I don't know why they did it, but they just like, oh, I think it was more just to develop games because they started making games yearly. So
Okay. All right.
instead of having like Call of Duty, so instead of having a game every couple years, they wanted to have a new game, like a new entry to the series, for each of their game series every single year. So basically, they had to use a lot of like a template. So all the games started feeling samey.
Yeah.
It was like same objective. The games were very much. They give you like a bunch of things on your UI, so your things are just filled with like compasses. Like you could barely see the game because it's like 500 things telling you where to go and what to do and everything. And the games always
Gotcha.
and in the games also they made them super long. So before they would be like 20 hours max, but now to complete the game it'd be like 120 hours. But
Okay,
it's
I was about to say because I was like, or is this gonna be something like Genshin Impact that it's like it takes like 5,000 hours to beat like the 100% the game.
120 hours is bad also because they just make you do the same thing over and over and over again to pad out the time. So it
True.
just gets like super tedious. So if you don't know, all their games have been flopping recently because everyone's sort of just kind of sick of it, and it's also been coming out with a lot of bugs. So first of all, Watch Dogs Legion. That was the last Watch Dogs game that came out. It flopped. That they killed the game series.
Hmm.
What else came out? Assassin's
Well,
Creed.
how many games were in the Watch Dogs series?
I don't remember.
Okay, hold on, because I
I
remember.
think it
Yeah, so
was
this was I just
4,
looked it
I
up. Yeah,
believe, because it was Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2, Watch Dogs 3, and
complete
then Legion, right?
Watch Dogs 3. Hold on.
Or was it just straight to Legion?
No, it's just straight to Legion because there's Watch Dogs in 2014, Watch
Yeah.
Dogs 2 in 2016, and then Legion in 2020. I
Okay.
remember seeing commercials for Watch Dogs 2. I vividly remember the commercials for Watch Dogs 2.
Well, yeah,
But I
no.
did not know that the game had just fallen off the second Legion came out. I did not. Well, then again, like I said, I'm not into like gaming news or anything like that, so I'm hearing this for the first time now.
So Watch Dogs Legions died, and basically they just killed off that series. They said they were not going to make another because of that one flopping.
I mean,
And also,
there's
that's
some series that sometimes you just gotta let it die.
yeah, but this is the big problem. Ubisoft also spends so much money, like mismanages funds, that these games are like $100 million budget. So if they don't sell like 30 million copies, then they're flops, which
Yeah.
is not realistic, right? Because no one, if it's the same game, people are getting more and more tired of it and not buying it, and they keep spending more and more money on it just for the same product. It's not gonna end well. So there's
Yeah, I
Legion,
guess.
and then I know Assassin's. Oh, this was another. And then they started also in the beginning. Ubisoft was leaning heavily into crypto and NFTs, They were the first big like gaming company that wanted to do like the NFT pie with they did like a thing called like Ubisoft Quartz, and I think it died in like a year. But there was
All right.
like theories and rumors that because they just did it with one game. It was one of the Tom Clancy games. I don't remember which one it was.
Jack Ryan, was it?
That's a movie.
No, oh, okay. Oh, no, because I was in the Rainbow Six Siege series, right? That was in the Rainbow Siege series.
No,
My
they
bad.
have a
Yeah.
couple like Tom Clancy games. But anyways, so they
I thought that my mind. The second I hear Tom Clancy, I just go Jack Ryan. That's the way that that I associate the Tom Clancy series.
so yeah. But where was it? Yeah, so there was gonna be that in that game, and the other one, the theory, was originally the last Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, was supposed to have crypto in it, but that made the game
Okay.
because when the first game first came out, the ESBR rating, what is that correct? Is that what's called the did I say it right? The one that's like rated E, rated E10,
I think maybe I don't remember.
ESERB. I don't remember what it's called.
I think it's USRB or ESRB. I think it's ESRB. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ESRB was rated A for adults only because of the crypto in it. It was like real world like gambling and whatever.
I can see that. Yeah.
Because they had crypto and the ESRB was like, yeah, that's gambling, so we're putting that as adult only. And then Ubisoft freaked out because like, hey, that's gonna make our sales go like down because it's adult only because of rating.
But then
So
again,
then
knowing the fact that but the fact that knowing some people that they actually that they'll buy M for mature games for their kids, that wouldn't, there might be some
no, the
people
thing
who
is
would
with
probably.
The thing with rated A games, I'm pretty sure you actually have to show like a card, like for
No, yeah,
identification.
obviously when you
Rated
purchase it,
M?
yeah, I mean, but the same thing applies with rated M,
No,
no?
nope.
Or is
Rated
that only
M?
when the or is that only when the kid is trying to buy it that he has to
Nope.
be in the
Well,
presence
I
of an
mean,
adult to purchase it?
not really. Some
I don't
places will be
remember,
stingy. No,
I know
that's rated
obviously, yeah,
A
there's this.
games. Rated A games. I'm pretty sure you have to show like a identification card.
'Cause I think I remember at some point for like rated M games they would have to have like an adult with them to be able to purchase the game.
That was more just like GameStop being like, You're too young to play that kind of thing."
I guess so, yeah.
That's
But then
not.
again,
It's
I
not
guess it was, to avoid all like the crying kids
like
that play
like
Modern
lawsuits.
Warfare
Yeah,
nowadays.
no one cares anymore. It's that, but I'm pretty sure for rated A games you need like a card.
I
So
would say I find joy in just looking at Instagram reels of just little kids getting their just desserts on video games. I find ironic humor in hearing just hearing a bunch of little kids cry because a bunch of people just wanted to have fun, and their way of having fun is just tormenting little kids on video
I've
games.
seen the one. I think my favorite one was a guy playing Apex Legends, and there was like a guy, like a kid on his open mic, like on an Xbox, like in the living room, but on open
Oh
mic.
boy.
So then he
I
heard
remember
it.
there was one that yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So that he heard it, and he just yelled Xbox turn off, and the Xbox shut itself off. It was kicked from the game. It was a kid.
I remember watching this one on Instagram that it was, I think, from like GTA 6 Online or something, or like from GTA Online, not GTA 6, GTA Online.
He bros from the
And
future.
it was bro from the future, yeah. So it was GTA Online. It was GTA Roleplay Online. And it was a little kid just trying to take this one guy down because the guy was trying to act like an NPC. And he had a soundboard with a bunch of different like voice lines for the character that is like, no, thank you, not today. So it was, so he just trolled him, like dodging like either like rocket launchers or like
Oh yeah,
gunfire,
I love.
especially on.
I've seen those with like the Gmod or role play as well. Those are always
So it
funny.
was just, so it was hilarious. The kid lost his mind because he wouldn't like. It got to the point where one little juke that the guy did, he ran away from the car that the kid was driving, and then all of a sudden he just runs to a gas station and just let the kid just run into a gas pump, and it was just,
No,
yeah.
that sounds fun.
It's it's sad that the fact that the kids are being tormented like that, but then again, you're like, you can't help but
Mikey,
laugh at the fact that they're just getting embarrassed like that.
listen, you gotta discipline the kids online. Obviously, their parents aren't there to discipline them, so you gotta step
Obviously,
in.
yes. Those are the kids that are like the iPad kids that they just spend time scrolling through YouTube Shorts or like TikTok and stuff. But then again, why is a kid on TikTok in the first place?
Well, so anyways, going on with Ubisoft. So originally it was supposed to, do
What a
that.
tangent we just what a
Yeah.
tangent we just went on.
But yeah, Ubisoft. So that was like the theory. So then they like delayed Mirage, and then when it came back, it was rated M again. So that was the theory. Was it was originally supposed to have crypto on it because the website had like a blank space for like, oh, next Ubisoft game's gonna feature crypto, and the next game was gonna be Mirage. But then after I said A, they had to like backpedal. So anyways, Mirage, kind of didn't make any money. Not Mirage, Quartz didn't make any money, so they shut
Yes.
down the crypto thing.
Did it ever get off the ground? Because I looked up the Quartz website and it
No.
says still like beta version.
Nope.
Like I could.
They like tried it multiple times, and I'm pretty sure also it was like the CEO was like a big crypto guy. He's like, crypto is the next thing for gamers, and he was
Gee,
like
it's like
calling
it-
like
it- it
gamers
seems
out of
that-
touch for not like seeing crypto is gonna be the next big thing.
Gee, it's almost like crypto and NFTs were like a giant scam to begin with. Who would have thought?
Yeah, well, but it gets worse. So then they had another couple flops. So I'm pretty sure their Avatar game also flopped. They had like an Avatar Pandora, like Avatar. The
I
blue
think
aliens.
I think I remember that.
They
I
had
think
one
I
that came
remember
out,
that.
and I don't think anyone played it. So that also flopped. And once again,
How long ago was that? I forget how long ago
Like
that
2
was, but I
years
think
ago.
I remember seeing like commercials for like a Pandora game or something. I forget what it was called or something. But
I saw
I
it,
remember.
and thing is, because they have like a battle pass
Then again,
season.
you're an Avatar. But then again, you're an Avatar fan, so you probably had.
I'm not
like,
an Avatar fan. I mean, I like Avatar: Last Airbender. I'm just like, I just watched the.
But like you like Avatar a lot, is what I'm saying.
Well, wrong Avatar. I like Avatar: Last Airbender. This is Avatar like the
alright.
blue people, which I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I'm
it's
saying,
fine.
yeah.
I'm not a fan. I think it's like cool or whatever, but I don't know like the lore or anything.
True. All right.
And it's like
Like, I
Mike.
don't really go-
It's like Mikey. I don't think
Because I was like-
anyone's an Avatar fan. Name one character from Avatar.
Because I was like, when we went to go see Pandora, like in Disney, like I
Yeah.
remember you.
Oh, I like
I
the
was like, you
land.
were-
Because I'm a
Yeah,
big
you were
theme
more,
park
you were
fan.
More, you were more into that than I was, because obviously, because I was like, what is going on?
The thing is, I'm a big theme park guy. I'm a big theme park fan. So and Pandora is one of the best like theme park lands ever made, my opinion.
Now that you mention theme parks, I think I want to go off on this tangent very quickly.
Here, wait. Let me
I gotta
just
po-
let me just quickly
I'll let you
wrap it up.
finish up with the with the
I think because
Ubisoft.
I
Yeah,
feel like
please.
we're gonna be on this for a bit, theme parks. 'Cause that's like a big passion of mine, and I know we're gonna be on that for a while. So, anyways, Ubisoft, quick. It got to the point where Hunters, Star Wars Outlaws, which was a big Star Wars open world game, it was like a full lot of controversy coming up with it, with like bugs and stuff, and it not looking good, and it flopped for a Star Wars game, which is insane. And it's because everyone was just saying because it was
Yeah.
mid and everything, right? So that was like when Ubisoft started sweating, and there was also a big controversies with their new Assassin's Creed Mirage game that was coming up, which was like no, not Mirage, Shadows, which takes place in Japan. There was a lot of controversy. I'm just mostly gonna talk not the political one. I'm talking about more of like, because there was a lot of political controversy, but I don't care about that. I'm talking about like even like the design itself of the game was a lot of like
that it looked like low effort and stuff.
yeah, it was more like it was very like not even historically accurate, as in the sense of they would just have like Japanese words in the game, but like if you translate it, it means gibberish.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so just like the stereotypical stuff that us as Americans, whenever
Yeah,
we
like
try
put
to,
it through Google
sound like-
Translate.
or that whenever we just say stuff that's like related to the culture to make ourselves sound like as if we're trying to speak their
Or
language.
I know another one was like a big controversy. It was like some of the battle music was like, oh, you would think it's like Japanese music, and it was like hip hop music in feudal Japan.
Oh boy.
Which is like this does not fit. And then there was a bunch of like controversy, right? But anyways,
Yeah.
so they delayed, and there was also like even in the trailers, it was like super buggy and everything, right? and you can see a lot of glitches and like the animation not look good. So they delayed this game like a year or something crazy. No, not a year, a couple months. It was supposed to come out in November, and I think it's coming out in like February.
What was the game called again?
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Assassin's Creed Shadows. Because I just looked it up and Mirage showed up. Was Mirage any good? Like, was there any good that came up from Mirage?
People just said it was a mid Assassin's Creed game.
At least Imagine Dragons put out a pretty good track for it. Or was it One Republic? It was One Republic, my bad. One Republic,
Oh my god, and I forgot about one of their biggest ones. Their biggest flop games, which was so funny. Skull and Bones. So Skull and Bones was their big answer to Sea of Thieves. Which has been...
But they already had it with Black Flag. Why would they have to
This was what it is. No, Mikey, hear this. So this game's been in development for over 10 years. And it was supposed to be a sequel, not a sequel, like an online experience. It was supposed to be Black Flag, but multiplayer. They were just going to say, yeah, we're doing that, but online, right? And then that game got in development hell for like 10 years. So they were constantly being...
Skull and Bones, right?
Yeah, so it kept being repeated and like getting like the production kept getting repeated. But the thing is, since the studio was, I believe in Singapore, right? They had like the government paid for the game, like helped pay for the budget of the game.
It was Ubisoft Singapore and Ubisoft Chengdu.
Yeah, Singapore. But since the government like helped pay for the budget of the game, by contract they had to release a game. But since they kept rebooting the game, they just had to make a game quickly in the end. So it started off as like a big multiplayer, Pirates experience you could get off, and it ended up
because of like a bunch of controversy and stuff. And
no, not controversy, just like development issues.
Oh, okay, all right. Because
so
I thought it was like deadlines and stuff like that.
But the thing is also the Ubisoft CEO was hyping this up so much. So have you ever heard like the phrases AA games and AAA games?
Yes, yeah, I've heard
like
it.
AA games are like small.
I haven't like fully understood the concept of it, but I've heard the term before.
Okay, so AA games is like a game made by like a smaller studio. And AAA games is like a game made by like a big studio with a big budget. So a AAA, an example...
Would Hollow Knight be considered a AA game?
No, that would be an indie game.
Okay, alright.
AA games is like an actual like studio that's like being published by a publisher with like a smaller budget. So, for example, AA game I could think of is there was a RoboCop game that came out. RoboCop Rogue City, that came out and people said it was pretty good. And it had like a smaller budget. That would have been a AA game. AAA game would be something like God of War or like a Nintendo game like a Legend of Zelda or Xbox. I don't know, Halo. I just said all like the biggest games from each of the big three.
Gotcha. Bro, I was just looking at this, like, the Skull and Bones thing. What the heck is this, like...
so I'm about to say, it's crazy. So, Mikey, the CEO...
What is this decal for, like, the front? I don't get it. Like, because it looks like it's graffiti and, like, kind of, like, modern lettering and stuff. Mm-hmm. It literally looks like they just took, like, the agency FB font and then just used, like, an eraser in, like, like, Adobe Photoshop or something just to make it look like a paint or something.
Alright. But Mikey, so the CEO of Ubisoft, you know what he was calling this game? He was hyping this up as the first quadruple A game ever made.
I'm sorry, but no.
Quadruple A live service game. And by the way, this game has been in
I get it. Ubisoft was a big company, but bro, you need
quadruple A. So, Mikey, this game, it's been like in development hell for like 10 years. It's coming out and it's like the CEO saying it's like the first quadruple A game ever made. And you want to know what the game is?
What?
The game is a ship simulator. So it's like So
it's basically Pirate BeamNG is what you're saying.
No, it's even worse.
Is that game?
It's even worse
than BeamNG.
Yeah, so it's like because it's not even that like immersive. You just like go. It's like Roblox build a ship. You have your ship. You go on and you click a button to fire cannons, and then you click a button to turn, and that's pretty much it.
So there's no campaign whatsoever to the story.
It's like an MMO, sort of, but it sucks. That's what it's saying. It like super sucked, and everyone hated it. So then that flopped, right? It's still technically up, but no one plays it.
Thank God I didn't say what I was gonna compare it to, because at least what I was gonna compare it to had some semblance of a story.
And then their most recent thing, which actually had kind of a lot of hype, was oh my god, what was it called? Their Call of Duty competitor. Oh, X Defiant. Okay. So this was another game that they've been in production for a while, and it actually had at first a lot of controversy because it was originally labeled as a Tom Clancy game. But they're using desecrating Tom Clancy's name because I'm pretty sure he's dead, right?
I think I don't remember.
Well, anyways, they were like using his name as like X Defiant, and the way they did it was like a super like TikTok-y game, the original trailer, and like the logo was X Defiant, but it was an emoji of like XD. And it was like, oh, we're like Fortnite. It's like, oh, we're all like what's the word? Like, oh, we're all like super hip and millennial with guns, and like it was supposed to be like a millennial Call of Duty, but that got so much pushback. They kind of went silent for a while, and then they like rebranded everything, and they did a couple betas, and people were saying the game was actually good, but then they kept delaying the game and delaying the game and delaying the game. That when it finally came out, it was right before Call of Duty. So everyone's like, yeah, it's a good game, but I'd rather play Call of Duty. So it was a
letdown, and also just
no, not even a
Duty.
It wasn't a letdown. People liked it. That's the thing. Thing is, they delayed it so much they put it right next to one of their biggest competitors ever. That's like like having like let's say like a small indie superhero movie that got delayed a year and it got released in the same week as an Avengers movie.
That like a Marvel movie come out.
That like not a Marvel movie, like an Avengers movie, like the biggest movie. Cause Call of Duty does has big numbers. So
it does, yeah.
So it was sad. So it was just recently announced that they're killing the game. They're shutting down the service after like 3 months.
Jeez.
So now their last hope, and they also closed down a lot of studios. I think they closed down their studio in San Francisco. I think they closed one of their studios in Japan. They're like downsizing. They're like they're bleeding money because all their games have been flopping. And they, on top of this, they released an NFT game. I forgot what it's called.
Like, hadn't we just talked about it?
No, Quartz was like Quartz was crypto, and that was back in like 2020. They released on the holy year of 2024 an NFT game.
Okay, hold on. I think I had just went. Yeah, Ubisoft just quietly launched a full-blown NFT game.
And it had like
Champions Tactics.
Champions Tactics, and they had some NFTs that were like $50,000 in it.
What the heck?
Exactly.
Man, y'all really desperate if you're trying to.
So their last hope, right now, for having like a big game is gonna be Assassin's Creed Shadows, and people.
Okay, hold on. So the Web 3 comes into play as a method. Okay, so it says something here. At the time of this piece, 5 days after launch, which just so you know, this was like October of this year, October 9th of this year or something. The in-game marketplace has figurines for sale ranging from around $7 to a whopping $63K for something called a Swift Zealot.
Yep, and they're all NFTs.
Jeez, like I said earlier, it's totally like as if crypto and NFTs were never a scam to begin with.
And then I'm pretty sure that game is rated adults only, and you can only download it off a website.
This one too?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, anyways, I think we've gotten a lot of what we wanted to talk about in the last episode.
Oh my god, yeah, we're 1 hour and 19. Mikey, episode name, Hawk
I ain't doing that. We're gonna call this one, let's just call it like maybe like Meltdown or something. Because we had the meltdown of Ubisoft, meltdown of teams whenever they lose and they just have
Nah,
a
I
hissy
have a
fit,
feel
and then
like
and the meltdown of Hailey Welch's career.
I want to say like just something simple like unwritten rules and
I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out when we
yeah,
get
we'll
to
figure out a name.
If you guys maybe have like an idea or something.
Well, no,
that
by
maybe
the
can
time we upload it.
No, I know, but by the time we upload it, you know what? Why not? Maybe we'll leave it up to the audience if they want to change the title.
I
and
feel
then
like
maybe
you
we can
gotta
go
do
into
that.
after it gets posted.
I feel like it'd be better if you like leave it like, oh, what topics would you want us to talk about for the next episode? That doesn't really work,
guys. Yeah,
for like this
definitely.
episode.
If you guys want us to have any topics that we want to talk,
Yeah.
that you would like us to talk about in the leave them in the comments below, or even just let us know on Twitter or something whenever we post that we're having the video uploaded. But as for that, thank you guys for listening to the second episode of the GrabBag podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified of any other uploads.
Follow on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter.
GrabBag Podcast, and also look out for when we start uploading on Spotify. We're just setting that up still. We're trying to build a little back catalog first as well.
Yes, and then hopefully maybe soon we'll probably have an IG set up. We'll see. We're still in the process of making that. But as for that, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening in on the podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.
See ya.